Well, hello everyone and welcome to my library. My name is Cinzia DuBois and today I'd like to tell you about the beginning of the universe. See, before there was Earth, the gods, the seas, or the stars, there was chaos. This pre-cosmic yawning abyss should be read, as Bosonic argues, qualitatively, not quantitatively. It is not an empirical space or void according to the ancient Greeks, since its function is cosmogonic. Chaos for the ancient Greeks was defined as an undimensional or principal space, an articulated nothingness. It is the barest indication that there is a qualitative something from and in which cosmic differentiation occurs. Bosonic claims that for Hesiod, chaos denoted the limits of the cosmic process, beyond which mythical representation could not go, and from this chaos was birthed Erebus, the myths of the netherworld and darkness, and Nyx, the night. And from darkness and night came the ether, the ethereal mists of heaven, Hemera, the day, as well as daemons, spirits. And today we shall look at Chaos's daughter, Nyx, the darkness itself, who, though a huge character today, was quite a minor character, with unfortunately very little written about her. But we'll cover as much about her as we can. But before we get any further, I'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Now, September is my favourite time of year because I get to go to those back to school fuzzy vibes. You know, autumn is just the season of productivity for me, and it gives me that little feel-good sense as if life can start again. And if you're a nerd like me who loves lifelong learning, then you will love today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an awesome online community for creatives brimming with thousands of classes that are now even more tailored to your aspirations and hobbies. So whether you're interested in creative careers or creative inspiration or AI and innovation, Skillshare has the resources for you, whether that's through pre-made learning pathways for you to grow your first YouTube channel or build an online business, or classes that are taught by industry experts from writing, productivity and art. I'm always scaling up my online business, and just because I've been doing YouTube for over a decade now doesn't mean I have nothing else to learn. I have loads more to learn, which is why I took Marquez's class on YouTube script writing and editing to give me more inspiration and see how someone else in a completely different genre edits and scripts their videos. So if you're interested in joining any of the classes and inspiring yourself to take up a new hobby or start a new career, then check out Skillshare in the link down below. The first 500 people to use my link in the description box will receive 1 month free trial of Skillshare, so get started today. Nyx is a primordial deity and the Virgin Mother who, according to Hesiod, bore many dark children. She bore hateful Moros, doom of death, and black care, fate of death, and Thanatos, death itself. She also bore Hypnos, sleep, the tribe of the Oniri, the dreams, Momos, criticism, and the painful Oisis, which is misery, and the Hesperides, the daughters of evening. She also bore the Morai, the fates, and the ruthless avenging Keres, deaths. She also bore Nemesis to afflict mortal men, and after her, Apate, deceit, and Philites, sex, and the hateful Geras, old age, and then the hard-hearted Eris, strife. In ancient Greek art, we see Nyx is depicted as either a winged goddess or charioteer, sometimes crowned with an aureole of dark mists. She lived in Tartarus, the deepest part of the underworld, with her daughter Hemera, the day, but as you can imagine, night and day, the two never actually met one another. Homer's Iliad refers to the night goddess Nyx as the subduer of men and gods. Yet later Orphic theology demoted her to the daughter of Eros, which was quite a downgrade to say the least. In Orphism and Platonism, Nyx is one of 6 kings, the demiurges, though she is the only goddess amongst them. This is a list of succession of gods who pass the torch onto each other. Phinehas, Nyx, Uranos, Kronos, Zeus, and Dionysus, or Dionysus. Now we see this transition of her in the Orphic theology in the 5th Orphic hymn from the 2nd century BCE, which was dedicated to the night. She is described as the mother of gods and men, who gave birth to all, but she is addressed not as Nyx, but as Kypris or Cypris, which is an epithet for Aphrodite. And it is here that we see her shift from being associated with the nocturnal aspects of death to influencing creation. In one of the Orphic creation stories, ether, radiance, chaos, and Erebus, the darkness, come from Chronos, time without an end. Chronos then forms a silver egg inside ether, which then births Phanes, this radiant being with golden wings and the heads of many different animals. You see, Phanes was the creator of all that exists, and is often equated to Eros and Mithras. Now, his association with Eros is important. Keep that in mind, particularly regarding the Aphrodite mythology. Now, Phanes gives birth to Nyx, and Phanes and Nyx, I know incest starts early in the Greek myths, then go on to conceive Uranus, heaven, whom Nyx then serves as an advisor. There is another version of the Orphic myth in which Nyx births Phanes from an egg, along with other deities, but it wasn't as renowned as the former. Still, Orphic hymns refer to Nyx as a parent goddess from whom other gods and mortals come, and as the personification of night itself, she was vital to Orphic traditions, considering how the Orphic mysteries seem to be largely concerned with three things: healing, death, and reunification. Yet despite all this, there's not much evidence that Nyx was worshipped by the Orphics with her own temple, though black cockerels were said to have been sacrificed in her name, as cockerels announced the end of her, i.e. they announced the dawn, the end of night. Black animals were sacrificed to chthonic gods, and we see further evidence of black animal sacrifices in later Roman writings to her Roman counterpart, Nox, such as in Statius' Thebaid, which reads, "O Nox, night, ever shall this house throughout the circling periods of the year hold thee high in honour and in worship. Black bulls of chosen beauty shall pay thee sacrifice, O goddess, and Vulcanus' fire shall eat the lustral entrails, whereover the new milk streams." The lack of evidence for her worship in temples, or even temples in her name, may be because of her name, Cypris or Kypris, which I mentioned earlier, which is an epithet for Aphrodite. You see, along with mentions of Nyx being the mother of Eros, i.e. Cupid, the god of love, Nyx and Aphrodite imagery and temples may have become so intertwined that one image usurped the other over time. Yet we see distinctive evidence between the two in ancient writings. Pausanias' description of Greece details seeing a statue of Nyx in a temple of Aphrodite. Quote, "When you ascend the citadel of Megara, which even at the present day is called Caira from Ka, son of Phoroneus, you see the temple of Dionysos Nyctelios, a sanctuary built to Aphrodite Espitrophia, she who turns men to love, an oracle called that of Nyx, night, and a temple of Zeus Konios without a roof. The image of Asclepius, and also that of Hygeia, were made by Bryaxis. Here too is what is called the Chamber of Demeter, built, they say, by Ka when he was king." Pausanias also gives us an account of a carving on an ornate cedar chest of a woman holding sleeping children in the temple of Hera at Olympia. The chest, which served as an offering to the gods, belonged to Kypselos, the first tyrant of Corinth, and along the chest was an inscription describing the two children as being death, Thanatos, and sleep, Hypnos, whilst the woman was their mother, Nyx. Needless to say, because of the differing ancient and then Orphic imagery of Nyx, as well as her overlapping associations with Aphrodite, we get a hodgepodge of imagery surrounding Nyx in later writings. In Homer's Iliad, Nyx's son Hypnos gets muddled in with one of the many marital spats between Zeus and Hera. It's no secret that Hera hates the children of Zeus conceived illegitimately, and one of those children is Heracles, who sacked Troy the first time. Because yes, the sacking of Troy in the Iliad by the Achaeans, such as Achilles, is the second sacking of Troy, not the first. Before the Troy of the Iliad, Troy was the predominant city of the Troad, founded by Tros and his son Ilus, the Prince of Dardania. Known then as Ilium, the city had been founded 4 generations after the deluge, which was the Great Flood of Greek mythology. Ilus was the great-grandson of Dardanus, one of the survivors of the Great Flood, and Ilus changed the name of Ilium to Troy, naming it after his father, Tros. When Ilus died, his son Laomedon took the throne, and he made some big mistakes. Now, I won't go into it all here because this video is about Nyx, but Heracles, for many reasons, sacked Troy. And on his way back from Troy, Hera conceives a plan to destroy Heracles' ships. She asks Hypnos to put Zeus into a deep sleep so he can't interfere, before she whips up a storm in Heracles' path. When Zeus wakes up, he is furious, not with his wife Hera but Hypnos, and goes to throw him off Mount Olympus. Yet Hypnos, terrified, Hypnos runs to his mother Nyx for protection, knowing that Zeus would never dare anger night itself. And as predicted, Zeus shrinks away from Nyx, not daring to touch her son again. We see Nyx again famously in Aristophanes' play The Birds. You see, he combines the imagery from Hesiod's theogony and the Orphic hymns to present Nyx as laying an egg in the depths of Erebus, which hatches into Eros. You see, the Aphrodite link again, who in turn creates the earth, as eggs in the Orphic tradition symbolised the earth. But as the woman who brought darkness and therefore symbolised peace, death, nightmares, dreams, darkness itself, and death, there is surprisingly little about her, though there is no doubt she was important and obviously feared, as Zeus himself would never dare cross her. But that is all I could find on Nyx. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and sending in any video requests that you may have on another similar topic. And send in any similar requests that you may have. We're going into spooky season here, so prepare yourself for more ghosts from ancient mythology, as well as witchy vibes, so any requests are always welcome. As always, thank you so much to my Patreons for making this possible, and I will see you soon for another video. Remember, books save lives, so keep reading.